We often tell ourselves that being a good person is synonymous with avoiding conflict, keeping our heads down, and remaining entirely harmless. We treat social compliance as the ultimate measure of morality. However, in a world where interests frequently clash, a person who lacks the tools for confrontation effectively leaves their life to chance. Being unable to exert influence or set a firm boundary means your direction is managed by the whims of those around you. The 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche argued that this particular version of goodness was actually a profound form of self-deception. He coined the term slave morality to describe how people who lack power often manage their circumstances. Unable to assert themselves or fight back, they rebrand their submissiveness and their inability to take action as evidence of a superior moral character. Real agency requires the ability to choose between multiple outcomes. For the truly powerless, a lack of violence is a logistical necessity. True peacefulness remains a theoretical concept until a person possesses the actual capacity for the alternative. Societal conditioning reinforces this passivity, teaching us to sand down our rougher edges. We learn to suppress our ambition, our anger, and our natural instincts for self-assertion to ensure the people around us feel comfortable. This energy doesn't dissipate. It follows a psychological law of conservation. When we deny our darker, more aggressive traits to fit the nice guy persona, we simply drive those qualities into the unconscious, where we can no longer monitor them. Carl Jung observed that these denied traits tend to congregate in the basement of the psyche, growing more autonomous and dangerous as they are ignored. This creates a precarious state of being. Attempting to remain perfectly harmless leaves you defenseless against external predators, while simultaneously allowing a hidden, unmanaged monster to grow within your own mind. Jung called this psychological vault the shadow. It contains the primal aggression and animalistic drives we refuse to identify with. When unintegrated, this repressed energy rots and leaks into daily life as passive aggression, resentment, and neurotic symptoms. This also presents a severe external risk. In a moment of crisis, the harmless man often freezes. He has alienated his own capacity for force so thoroughly that he can no longer access the intensity required to stop a threat or defend a boundary. Ignoring your darker potential does not provide safety. It ensures that you remain a victim to both the chaos of the world and the unmanaged volatility of your own unconscious. The path to psychological wholeness involves what Jung called shadow integration. This is a terrifying process of self-reflection. It requires you to consciously accept your capacity for destruction and manipulation as a real part of your identity, rather than pretending those traits belong to someone else. Jordan Peterson emphasizes that becoming articulate and dangerous is a prerequisite for a meaningful life. You must be capable of violence to truly choose peace. The goal is to bring your internal predator out of the basement. You integrate these traits so they can serve you as conscious allies, providing you with the intensity and resolve to handle life's tragedies. In martial arts, students learn the mechanics of violence to ensure their aggression is a trained, ethical response, rather than an emotional outburst. Reclaiming these dangerous traits allows you to place them under voluntary control. You become a person who can choose when and how to exert power, rather than someone who is merely controlled by their own repressed instincts. This creates the ultimate paradox of virtue. True morality only appears when a person possesses the absolute capacity for destruction, yet makes the deliberate decision to keep it in check. To understand the social reality of this, we look to Niccolò Machiavelli, who studied how power actually flows in the world. Machiavelli's observations in The Prince suggest that safety and stability are maintained by those who are perceived as capable of wielding force. Influence moves toward those who carry the potential for decisive action when the situation demands it. An integrated person carries a silent, unmistakable psychological gravity. They don't need to be loud or aggressive. Their presence itself issues a warning that they possess lines that cannot be crossed. Because peers and predators can sense this restrained capacity for danger, the integrated individual often encounters less conflict. They command respect through a presence that is both powerful and noticeably composed. This combination of capability and restraint is represented by the archetype of the warrior monk. Reaching this state involves a complete shift in identity. You move from the position of a victim to mastery over your internal darkness, standing still while the world's chaos moves around you. When this internal capacity for force is under voluntary control, kindness takes on a different weight. It is a gift offered from a position of strength, rather than a strategy for survival used by the weak to avoid being noticed. Genuine peace requires forging your own sword and understanding the weight of its edge. By keeping it sheathed, you transform a fragile, naive harmlessness into a formidable and chosen stillness.